And we're back. And we I'm gonna repeat Waffles. We're back.
We're back. I hit the wrong button. All right.
So what's going on right now? Right now. Is everybody dead around me?
Everyone's dead.
I knew it. I mean, sorry, that's a vision for the future. Go on, sorry.
No. Everyone's not dead. This big wolf, though, hearing the whistle in the background that Dr. Lin and Caliban heard, takes off for their turn. Does a full withdraw, no opportunity attack, and moves twice their speed, which is quite far. Let's call it 100 feet.
Ew. Oh, he only moved 100 feet away?
Yeah.
Baby numbers.
The little wolf is going to do the same thing. Actually, the little wolf's going to run, and it gets all the way to this tree because it can just run in a straight line.
That's unacceptable. I'm sorry.
And then this little wolf down here is kind of sad. And it's gonna... What would it do? It's gonna try to climb back up the mountain. So let me make an athletics check real quick. Just a little athletics check.
And this is all their turns.
Just
No one's
little
in melee. Like there's nothing we can do right now.
Wait.
Yeah, even the people in... What's up?
Sorry, I just thought of it. Might have missed it if you said it, but did the wolf that moved to the north take into the account the fact it was tangled up?
No. It didn't.
I shot it with my Spider-Man webs.
Oh no! Well, I forgot what that does. Hold on. I'm entangled. What does entangled do again?
Misery. I think it halves movement speed or reduces it by 10. I will check.
Yeah, that's important. Which one it does? Please check for me.
Please check for some boy.
You move at half speed. You cannot run or
Half
charge.
speed. I can't run? Gross. Okay.
Nah.
Alright, then this one moves 30 feet. Instead of the 120 it was gonna.
Again, still not okay.
30 feet, man. Can I break out of that? Do I get any checks to break out of that?
Let me ping the tentacle. Sorry.
The tentacle. That's not weird.
Allow me
Sorry.
to ping my tentacle.
Different aspects of lens anatomy just gets weirder and weirder.
They can use their move action to make a acrobatics or strength check at DC 16.
Alright, well, it's definitely going to do that. We're going to do acrobatics. It's going to move once with its normal action, and then it's going to use its move action to try to break out of it. And it failed.
Our game.
Ooh.
It rolled a 10. A natural 2. I don't know if I have a hero point because I'm not keeping track of it, so I'm not going to use it. This other
There's
wolf
a
down
reason
here.
they call me Spider-Man.
This wolf down here attempts to athletics up the cliff and rolls a natural 1 and falls back down.
Oh.
Oh.
It did that before going down, actually. Like,
Yeah,
this
it
wolf
did.
is
Yeah,
just
that's
not gonna
true.
go in.
This
Yeah,
guy
this wolf's having it
sucks.
rough. Then it uses its move action to stand back up. Okay.
Okay.
Alright,
Well,
guys, I'll
good
put
turn.
him out of his misery.
Well, Wasp will attempt to do just that.
Can I call out real quick? Out of turn.
Sure. Go ahead.
If all of them are basically running and I'm seeing them all run, but this one is like the runt and is just like struggling, right? I might just like hold on. If they're leaving, if they have means of communication or something is in those packs, can we try to keep this one? Just
Let's beat it unconscious.
incapacitate it.
Can we just keep it dead?
Sure, I can try to just knock it out. How does this one look?
Yeah, I don't remember if this
health-wise.
one was hurt at all.
Does it look rough?
It's a little hurt. It's not like on its last legs or anything, but it's a little hurt. But I will just openly tell y'all that you can see that it is not in it. Like fight or flight, it's in flight. Like it's not even in a position that it's going to turn around and bite somebody at this point.
Gotcha. So Moat is going to move closer, and Wasp is going to fire just a regular shot at the Wooth.
Wolf? Excuse me, it's a
the
laser
wolf?
wolf?
22 to hit.
22 does hit.
Yes.
Then it'll be 8 damage.
It takes 8 damage. It's like
And then Moat will follow up with a Pulsecaster shot.
all right.
And I will do it as a double tap.
Okay.
Double check.
The wolf is admittedly unhappy to be shot
25
point blank
to
with a gun.
25 does hit.
Okay, sweet. Then that would be 9 damage, which is non-lethal.
Okay. It takes
7,000 damage.
9 non-lethal damage as you set your pulse caster to stun. Zeha. This wolf is now on its last legs.
Yes. That's great. I am not the right person for this. Can I? I can't do anything, y'all. All right. I'm going to basically like look around like if everybody's got the message, it's fine. I'm going to carefully walk around this tree, me and my duplicate, and just like very slowly approach the wolf, but not too close. Like I'm still basically behind Moat. And then I guess because it worked before in Castrovelian, I will just kind of go easy. I'm just gonna like slowly approach, and if possible, I'd like to just cast Detect Magic to see if there's anything in the pack or if there's anything that I'm not that I didn't have a chance to sense on these wolves, why they're acting weird or otherwise.
Yes, you do detect magic on both of these wolves.
Oh, behind me as well?
No, you can't detect that far. The dead wolf.
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, so on the dead one as well. Is it coming, let's see, how does this spell work? Detect all magic spells, effects, items, and objects, including those on or affecting creatures you can see, as well as hybrid items in the area. If I concentrate, if I can determine if one magic source you can detect is from a spell, what it's from. Okay, so I'm gonna hold it up and then I'm gonna concentrate next round.
Okay. So yeah, you detect one source of magic on both of them.
Cool.
And that's it. This wolf's dead. Eisen, your turn.
Do we want the one in the net as well? I can't go after the big one. It's too far away.
It's actually a web-like compound.
I mean, you can knock it out if you want. The more, the better. There's something magical? There's something on them.
I've still got more hallucinogenics I can shoot it up with to keep it from getting far.
So cruel.
Yeah.
Dr. Len, I do not subscribe to animal cruelty. That is absolutely unacceptable.
Well, I mean, I don't either, but this is a... If we need to, you guys are beating a wolf unconscious.
I was about to say, I don't think this is the time for a conversation on ethics.
Mo just shot it with 2 guns.
Oh, that's completely different.
It's just gonna knock it out.
Have you heard of
Okay.
tranquilizer darts? Come on.
Okay.
I'm
You rather
working
be
on something.
tripping
Caliban
or
killed
get
one
shot
guys
upon?
and sliced one in half.
Yes. Get as many.
And
as you
I'm
can
the bad
gather.
guy here.
While that argument is going on, I'm just going to quickly roll my eyes, and I'm going to use Flowing Torrent to charge the wolf in the net.
Okay.
You're up on
Stale
a
away.
cliff.
Yeah, you can't. I don't think you can charge.
I
from
can.
there.
I can in a straight line. Like I'll just fall as part of the process.
But it interrupts your movement.
Are you,
Yeah, I
Are
think
are you
the
gonna
height
be like
difference-
freaking Scooby-Doo running in the air until you look down?
So normally it would. However, Flowing Torrent is unique in my combat style. I will
Ping
ping
it, ping it.
Yeah, tell me.
You get super moist and you don't take any fall damage.
I've got a. There we go. I have a big list of abilities
He
here.
pops out a hang glider.
Yeah,
You no
just
longer need movement to be directed towards the opponent, though you must end within a certain melee range of the opponent. You no longer
Right.
need to end at the closest space, blah blah blah.
So when we were designing this originally, it's meant so that I can move around the battlefield as I see fit, as long as I end within melee range of the opponent that I'm aiming at.
I agree with that. I still don't agree with this whole jumping off a cliff during it though. That's literally the only thing I don't like. This is supposed to be like, you know, water flowing in a river. You can zigzag your way instead of charge in a straight line.
Yeah, like water going off a cliff, and then it keeps moving.
That's
And
Like
like-
crashes,
yeah, like
and then it comes back up.
Yeah.
to
like
me,
a waterfall.
To me, the way I'm like when you can skirt around objects as long as you can flow unobstructed. But if you have an obstacle that would require a check, like an athletics check or something, that's interrupting your movement.
I could see it either way. If I need a climb speed to make that work, I can do that later at some other point. But I figured just because it's walking off a cliff, it doesn't like, it's not like I can choose to not.
Just a
make the
gentle
check.
walking off.
Just walking off a cliff, y'all.
Yeah, I'm gonna
And
say
you jet dash off the cliff and just like, just like, zzz.
yeah, I'm gonna say if you had a climbing speed wouldn't even help you. If you had a flying speed, like if you had a jetpack or something, you could do it.
Surely a climbing speed would work because I could just run down the cliff and it worked that way.
But you have to climb, right? I
No,
guess a
but
climbing
that's
speed.
a climbing speed is like
with
convenient
enough
walking.
movement, I suppose. But that's a lot.
Sure,
that's a lot
yeah.
of movement.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can get behind that too. Okay, basically it's not gonna work this time.
Okay, then in that case, I will do the I'll do the thing that was said before, which I'll jet dash and jump off the cliff, and I'll go like the longest distance possible. God, yeah.
Run, Forrest, run.
Yeah, I still don't think I'll be able to get there. Dang.
Probably can't get there and attack.
Yeah,
That's,
no.
It's the unfortunate part of
No,
the
so-
battlefield.
So then I'll have to go after the wolf that everyone else was punching. Like that's the.
Well,
That's the only way
don't
to
you have
work.
attacks of opportunity if you just get it
No.
though? To be close enough to it, like if you use your full.
Oh. Yeah, but then it could just use like a turn to like full withdraw if it wanted.
Right. Two can play at that game. I understand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, what are we doing?
I'm just gonna go over here, jump off the cliff, using my jet dash, to like slide down the cliff and punch this wolf.
All right, give me an acrobatics check.
This poor wolf did.
I'm
nothing
jumping, so athletics.
Yeah. I'm down with that.
17.
Easy enough.
Yeah.
Not a natural one like the wolf rolled. So.
wrong. Twice.
And then I'm going to, without turning my hand into a spike, I'm just gonna punch it for non-lethal damage.
Okay.
What epic music?
It's like Final Fantasy music,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
29 to hit,
29 does hit.
15 damage.
Punch it, and it slops to the ground. Not dead.
I just do I do like a superhero punch as I'm going down, just boof.
Yeah.
On this wolf.
Sliding down, whop, across the face. The wolf slops to the, not even to the ground, on top of this rock. Caliban, it's your turn.
Caliban.
Isaac's clearly the better fighter.
I've killed two of these things. Caliban is going to ignore the wolf that's like spider running away, and is instead trying to get up on the cliff here. And he's basically getting up there, lifting his sniper rifle, and just like looking through the scope for the source of the sound. Like he heard it, he sees where they're running, he's trying to figure out who's calling them off. So athletics check first.
Yeah, give me that athletics check.
I just closed my sheet because I'm a dummy. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, I know. 12 plus 11, 23.
Easy.
Easy.
You get up.
I jump
One
there.
one whole move action.
Yep. Jump up there, and then just from right there, then I'll just aim and look. So perception check.
Yeah, you aim through your scope, look, perception.
18.
I mean, you see the direction the wolf's running, but literally 30, 40 feet past where the wolf is, you start to see like tree and then another tree and another tree. Like it's so thick a forest you can't see that far.
And from the sound, it seems like, are they going in the direction that I heard the sound, at least?
You heard the sound kind of all around, which was a little interesting. And on top of that, like they're all going in the same direction. That tells you something. But aside from that, like you heard the sound all around, and it didn't sound like the sound was super close either. Like it's not like the sound's probably even within 100 feet. Like you know how like high pitched whistles work.
Yeah. I'm just worried that they're going in one direction, but the source is the other.
You don't think
But,
they're
yeah.
that intelligent. You think they're running toward like how a dog whistle would work. Like you think they're running towards the whistle.
Okay. Then that's my turn for now.
Okay. Let us see. This wolf is also dead. Spider-Man,
Poor
jellyfish,
baby.
your turn.
Um, Len's going to ask, so do we want this other one too, or should I just let it go?
As many as we can without hurting yourself.
Alrighty. Oh, I wouldn't worry about that. And Len shoulders
I
his
worry about that.
shoulders his needler rifle, puts in like a cartridge of his world famous brand hallucinogenics.
Oh my god.
And fires it at the entangled wolf.
What has he named his hallucinogens? Like he must have like a name for it.
I have not thought of that, but I will come up with something as quickly as I can.
Lean lens hallucinogens.
They'll make you see the world in another way.
We'll workshop it.
They probably called it Rin.
Oh.
Oof.
A little copyright on the bottom of it that says does not count if I'm not a doctor.
All right, so that's a 22 for 6 piercing damage, and I'm going to need a fortitude saving throw.
All right. This thing's, what is it again? Entangled? I don't think that, that doesn't reduce
It's
my
in-
fortitude.
I don't think
So
so.
at 22.
Oh, a 22.
How
That's a
about
dang
it?
shame. That's a dang shame. I'm in big trouble. Nothing's gonna happen now. All right, it is now encumbered, so its speed is reduced by 10 feet, and also my new shiny, brand new hampering inhibitor ability also reduces its speed by half again. So
So it's got 5 feet of movement. All right.
yeah.
This wolf stops moving and the combat's over. Because it's not getting anywhere with 5 feet of movement. So
It's just desperately clawing at the ground as it stretches.
basically,
Please.
It's just walking
What?
up.
What did I say
One-
about animal cruelty? This is so
One-
sad.
It's,
One of the
it's
wolves is
probably
unconscious.
feeling very good right now.
It's just screaming and rolling around like a
it's
cat
high
on
on
bandit.
life.
Bad trip. Bad trip.
All right. One of the laser wolves is unconscious. The other one has basically like got so tangled up in the netting that the spider netting that it stopped moving.
I'm going
What's
like
an animal check?
so concentration magic. What do I find?
Okay. What do you get for that? Or like what exactly does that concentrating on it?
Yeah, so each round that I concentrate on the same area, I can determine if one magic source I detect is from a spell, magic item, or other effect. And so basically, like, what it's coming from, and the caster level or item level of the effect.
Okay. It is. This is why I hate putting homebrew items in. It is caster level 4.
And it's an item.
And it's an item. It's a hybrid item. If you get that, if you don't, you'll probably find it because you know where it is. So, okay, it's a hybrid item. Technological and magical.
And it's coming from their packs.
No, it's coming from their head area. I don't know how specifically you get, but
I get to know what it's coming from. So,
the wolf itself.
okay.
I would say Zeha would know this enough. It is some sort of augment.
Okay. Cause I mean, I would assume that if it's affecting them, I might think it's an effect, but if it's affecting them and it's an item, then I could like put that together.
I think so, yeah. I think like you've been around enough people, you know, Tetsu has augments. Like I think you've definitely seen this before. So
Okay. I wish I had Yeah, what's up?
If you share that, I would be more than happy to ask Glenn to help me scrape around for the augmentation out of one of the dead wolves.
One of them
just let me find my gloves.
Is this one unconscious or dead?
The two in front of you with the dots are unconscious. Well, one's unconscious. The one with the X is unconscious. The other one is not moving. Those are your captive wolves. And then the two up there with the X's are dead.
Okay, perfect. So I would say, like, okay, if you're going to do that, use one of the dead ones and take it out of line of sight here, please. I just really does not sit well with her to, like, dissect a wolf in front of this poor captive wolf.
Maybe it's like an interrogation technique.
You were the evil party all along.
While we're dissecting this wolf with the one that's still awake and just like given up on life, can I do like a survival check to basically like calm it down or like kind of
It is tripping its mind away.
I just want to calm it and get it through its trip, okay?
Hold on, let me check real quick.
I think it was like 10 minutes. It's something
7 years.
Well, because I want, this dissecting is going to take a second or two, so I want to know what we need to do.
Yeah, and you do a survival.
I believe 4 rounds, but I'm just gonna make sure.
Can I
31.
assist using diplomacy or life science? Can I be
you can assist using life science.
Okay.
7 rounds, I believe.
21 assist.
Moat throws a grenade on the ground.
Yeah.
Basically, in the time that it's tripping balls, like I'm just dragging it off to like the side and like just taking a moment to prepare to just be like, "Hey, man, you're down from your high. Let's get through this." Is an assist +4 or +2? I forget.
+2.
Okay, so 33.
3. Yep. All right. This wolf does seem to calm down with the help of Zeha's Castrovelian speak and not Tetsu. Seems to know how to handle animals.
I have a theory that, like, my personal theory is that this has something to do with kind of like some communication, like let's say they are patrol wolves, like there's some communication back to a base of some kind, especially because of how they were behaving and that they wound like back to a specific location. So since this is the conscious wolf, like in the Castrovelian, like I'm just telling it, and then in case it matters to whoever's listening, like we don't mean any harm. Like, I'm not talking like I know there's somebody on the other side, but I want everything I say, if there is somebody on the other side, to be like positive.
Sure. Give me a mysticism check really quick based on what you just said.
Sure. 24.
Yeah, you guys are coming down this wolf. You're pretty close to it, and you see it like turn its head just a certain way where the moonlight glances against one of its eyes, and you can tell that one of its eyes is technological, like a hybrid magic item. And then I'll say you know enough about mysticism, you check it for a second to detect magic, like whatever you need to do to figure this out. It also runs it basically runs like from their eye to their ear, like through their synapses and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I'm.
Did you say I see this?
No.
I shoot a message on our comm units to everybody about this, especially those that are dissecting. And again, I'm like, easy. I'm sorry. It was self-defense. We killed the rest of these. We really didn't. We're just walking through. We don't mean any harm. And like, we're just here. We're going to. I'm not gonna say anything about our motives. I was gonna say we're just gonna meet up with a friend.
Tell them all of our evil plans.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, and it's just like, and to whoever, I mean, I sent this text out since, and I kind of just ask in text, like, since they clearly know our faces or hear us, do we want to address this head on? ? Sent.
I will respond, considering I'm just resting for the time being.
Am I
and
on
say,
this text thread?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Yeah, you'd be on it for
Yeah.
this case.
It's the group chat with
It's a new
admins,
group.
too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Standard procedure to sync comm channels,
Fair enough. It's a
Agree,
proximity
but-
thing. I'll send a check back and say, we were a ways away and they came to hunt us. Like, we didn't stumble upon them. They came to find us when they realized there was movement in the woods.
How far away are we from civilization about now? From where we're trying to go?
Like a day and a half, probably.
Caliban will text back and say, there is a war going on. Very likely these woods are used by those who are not winning.
Can I make can I make a culture check or whatever diplomacy to, given the distance and what I know about this type of like tactics, like, is it likely a patrol unit from the city, or are we dealing with another faction here?
Yeah, give me a culture roll.
17. That's pretty shitty. Natural 2 for a 17.
I'll put your role and Dr. Lynn's together based on what he knows about the wolves. It's definitely not a patrol from the city. That's all you really know, but it's definitely not a patrol from the city.
I reply with that basically.
Caliban would reply that these are local animals, and the locals have lost to mercenaries in this fighting, from what I understand of the civil war going on here. There may be remnants of the local resistance about. Whether we want to address that and provide solutions,
Well,
happy to help.
they are, whatever faction this is, they're aware of us. So, if the dissecting team can confirm if this technological mystical item allows any sense of control, I will talk to them and ask them exactly what's up.
Moat, could you hand me the scalpel, please?
Yep, here you go.
Drill.
All right, buddy.
And
Okay.
Moat replied, zzz, zzz, yep, here you go.
And now the chainsaw.
do you need not the bone saw, the chainsaw? All right, here you go.
Yeah, the chainsaw. This thing's are.
Bone chainsaw.
All right,
Moat
you
sends
ruined
back
both
in
of
the
them.
text. Moat sends back in the text chat. If you need me to, if we want to take this interrogation or conversation with the wolves more secretly, I could potentially jam the signal. I just need a bit to convert one of my items into a jammer. Do you think this would be jammed by wireless or radio?
Jamming would interrupt the communication with the group that we're trying to communicate to.
Right. So, sorry, I might have been distracted by the brain here, but no. So we want to talk to them. We don't want to have any sort of secret conversation right now. We want them to see us doing everything.
The text bubbles come up as she types, and then they go away. And they come up again. This is the secret conversation. Through texts.
Yeah, fair point.
All right. What'd you find?
Dr.
Laser
Lynn,
drill.
give me a medicine or survival check.
No pressure. Doctor.
Actually, sorry.
Medicine
Give me
or
a
survival?
Give me a medicine and a survival check.
Frick.
Real quick, while he's rolling that, I'm just gonna say to Zeha, it's probably just worth ignoring them. We have our plan. As long as we move fast, we don't need to face it until it becomes more of a problem.
All right, an awful 21. And then for survival, here comes the fatty natty. Okay, 15's not bad.
You
Not
rolled a
horrible. All right.
21
Average of
medicines?
like an 18 there. You mess up one of them, but that gives you a bonus enough to get the other one out correctly. What
Okay,
it looks
sweet.
like is a
Did I have any opportunity to assist with that?
yeah, I'll say you did. It's not going to change it that much to like
Okay.
reroll and stuff. Just mechanically and flavorfully, let's say you aided, because I'm sure you
Okay.
would have made the aid check. So, you pull it out, and it literally looks like what Zeha said. It looks like a mechanical eye that's made to look relatively real, at least to a wolf's eye. And then it's got these futuristic fibers that come into a little earpiece that looks almost like a hearing aid. Engineering check to see what it does.
Can I give that to Moat because my engineering is shoddy at best?
Show.
Ooh, this is cool. I think this falls under my tinker knowledge. I'm gonna tap that and then roll the engineering check.
Oh, to identify. Fuck yeah.
Identify technological devices, and I rolled a 27, so that should be an effective 32.
Yep. Which is easy enough. You never seen anything like this, but you know exactly what it does by looking at it. It looks to be a camera / communication like combo, basically, as to where someone can it's similar to stuff you would use with Wasp. Like you can see what they're seeing and talk to them.
Can you hear what they're hearing?
Based on what Moat is looking at it through, no.
So it is a receiver from the third party faction to the wolf.
Yep.
And then
And
it
Could
is
this be
a
traced back?
transmitter for video signal.
Video,
But
and we
not
don't
audio.
think that they receive audio.
You don't think they receive audio.
Okay.
Could we trace back where this signal was going, or
Oh.
I'll say based on Moat's engineering check, you think you could. It would take like an hour of work, but like you could do it for sure.
All right. I'm a hunch down. I'm like, I kind of sit folded in front of this wolf. And I look at, like, to make sure that it's looking at me. Like, does it focus on me?
It will eventually. It's pretty out of it overall, but eventually you can get it to focus on you.
Okay.
I give it a treat.
It bites your hand off.
I tamed it!
Nope.
Respect to 33.
It takes the treat, but it's still like it won't take it from your hand. You have to put it on the ground. Don't thumbs down me.
I kind of like point to the wolf, and I point to us, and then I make like a talking, the futuristic phone signal unit.
The what's up, the surf's up dude.
Yeah, what's up?
There's a bit of motion in Caliban's hand, and then he puts a piece of paper in front of the wolf's eye that says, "We'd like to talk."
There we go.
Then he goes, "Continue. I will translate for you."
Do I know if I can do some kind of private channel communication? Actually, you know what? I'll confer with Moat quickly. Do you know of some way we can secure a private line that perhaps we could share that line with that party?
I'd like to think I'd be able to tap into the signal somehow. I could probably hijack it and get an audio signal transmitted instead of video. That shouldn't be too big of an issue.
Perfect. If you can do that and then trace the signal, meanwhile.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be kind of in tandem, you know? If I am going to trace the signal anyway, might as well get that set up. So I can work on that.
Perfect.
It'll take about an hour, maybe a little bit more.
Well, we can all do with a rest. Is anybody hurt?
Eisen is winded for sure. He took the most minuscule amount of HP damage, but his stamina is spent.
Okay.
Len is rather winded too.
So we'll do that. Let's rest, and use this perfect opportunity.
Yep. Reminder to the rules: resolve points spent for all your stamina back takes 10 minutes. To pipe in on what Mode is doing. You definitely think you can do everything of what you just said. You just know that establishing a communication they would know as well.
Yep.
If you hooked into their line, just to let you know, like there's no secret establishing your communication here.
Which is
Right.
no, and that's
Yeah,
kind of what
I think
we're
that would
going
be the
for.
last thing to do.
Yep.
Yeah, we're kind of like because we're telling the camera as well. We're gonna communicate with you, and
For sure.
and then we'll trace meanwhile.
Yep. I just wanted to make sure y'all knew. Okay. Yeah. Y'all rest. You have all your stamina back. If you spent a resolve point, please keep track of that. Anything else happen within that hour? Like, I'm gonna throw one out here. Like, you check the bags of the wolf.
Yes,
I would for sure.
Yes.
I would.
If we were dissecting the wolves,
It's a
we would
bomb.
have gone through them.
I figured. I just want to make sure.
No, thank you. I appreciate that.
There's
I
next
also want to
nothing.
check with.
Sorry, there's next to nothing in any of the bags. But on the inside lining of all the bags, you see this decently intricate. Trying to think of the best. I suck with like design words. What is it called when I guess pattern, but I don't want to just call it a pattern because it's a little more intricate than that. Kind of like embroidery.
Are you talking about a signature?
Kinda. We'll call it like a signature pattern because it's not just a pattern that's like boom 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 boom. It just keeps going forever. There's like it's like
A watermark?
Insignia?
kinda, yeah. It's like a watermark, but on a pack, which is like not a watermark, you know? Or can you watermark a pack?
I mean, sure. Yeah, I mean, a watermark is part of a design, and if
Branding.
that's printed out
Yeah.
if that's printed out in the pattern, then it is.
But you're looking in like the inside of all of them, and there is this little mark that like when you're just immediately looking at it, you can't really tell what it is. I need a Dr. Lin, give me an intelligence check flat. Anyone else can give me a bodyguard or like
Culture?
Since this is gathering
culture.
information, I
Big
would
20.
like to roll culture. Pretty please.
you can. Anyone can roll culture if you want. It's just gonna be very hard.
22 on bodyguard.
23.
21.
Goodness.
If
You're
this
all
is
rolling great.
if this is a security item, I like security related, I lower the DC by 5.
Okay. It is not, but the bodyguard and intelligence are enough. Dr. Lin and Eisen, you both know that this is a mark synonymous with the black butterfly.
Oh,
God damn
Okay,
it.
everyone, we need to get
Oh,
moving.
looky,
Yeah,
looky.
we should
Oh
have
no! Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, where's
no,
Tetsu
no,
when
no.
you need him? All right.
Oh no! Okay, everyone, we need to leave. We need
Butterfly
to get
in
moving.
the sky.
What do you mean
I
we
wa-
need to leave? Don't you have your friend to collect?
We
Well,
need
yeah,
to grab-
after we get Sana. I'm not gonna
cares about
say
her?
her name.
What?
We just said it.
All right, so this isn't.
No,
As far as we know,
I said half of it. That's not
as
enough to
far as
extrapolate.
we know, the information that was given to us about the black butterflies from Tetsu prior to his departure, they were part of the mercenaries on Castrovel. This is not some rebel group. This is... Yes, before his timely death, not even untimely. Sorry, we're
It
making fun
sounded
of
like
Tetsu
he
in chat.
legit died.
I am
think
not
I
one to
think
pass
I
up an
was not
opportunity
given
to
all the
make fun of
details.
Tetsu. But
It's not
correct?
dead yet. We haven't had his cutscene.
Yes, no, correct.
what was the end of that question?
yes,
I didn't-
that's right.
That they're not some third-party mercenary group rebel group rather. That they're a mercenary group as a part of the mercenaries of Castrovel.
So from what we understand, the Black Butterfly is a broker. Like they are like part of one of like like the Kingpin from Marvel. They're like one of those people that like organize a large section of the.
Yeah. So
like,
can
under-
I can't reply because Tetsu's not here.
Yes.
Yep.
Can I make some kind of... And I actually don't know if Zeha would know this or not, but like politically anyways, is there any... I don't know, like can they be separate? Like, is there any ground to gain here with this group, or are they better left alone?
Give me
Definitely better left alone.
a culture check.
Can I do a culture check seeing it's
34.
military thing?
Oh, that's a much better check.
Culture, military, anything you have.
18.
Yeah, that's a
Not great.
natural 19. 34.
Yeah, DC was lower for Caliban, but just doesn't know it. Zeha, with the Idari, like, circles you run in with the ramps and tin and everything, you've heard the name come up. You know that it would be way more beneficial to be on their good side. They're not going to be an ally, ever.
Right.
But they don't have to be an enemy. That's basically that line right there. Like, they're not going to be your ally, but they don't have to be an enemy. It's like that's the line you've heard thrown around about the black butterfly on the Adari.
Okay. Then let's... I look over at Dr. Len, like, let's...
Len's like almost like just quivering with anxiety. Like, we need to get moving now.
I raise, like, one of my arms, one of my hands. They most
No.
definitely
No.
already have seen you and us.
Of course they have.
It's about mitigating damages. It's not about working with them. It is about mitigating damages.
Then we mitigate the damage by leaving here right now as fast as we can.
Yes.
Did you do something to piss this person off?
No, we have reputation to uphold.
Yeah, no. You
Is it
meant
ready, Mo?
yeah, no.
Is it ready?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we're ready.
Caliban,
You
can
sure about
hold...
this? You were pretty against it last time. We talked
I was
about doing
against
it, though.
getting involved. Desperately
now
against
involved.
getting involved. No, now I'm already involved. Now they've seen my face.
Mhm.
Fair enough. Are we gonna go with pseudonyms, or are we just gonna?
I'm not
Don't mention my
saying
name.
any names whatsoever. Caliban, can you hold the sign up?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll let them know.
Saying.
Oh, that like we're calling now.
I write down ring ring.
Okay.
Is this kind of like a speaker situation that we can put in front of us?
No,
Like
this
A
is in
family
here.
Zoom call.
Actually, yeah, I'll
Conference
say
I could like
I'll say
wire it
no.
into my mask and have it project out volume.
Yeah, Yeah, I'll say Moat would have been able to like do this to where anyone could listen or talk for sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Ring ring.
You hear it pick up on the other side, and you just hear,
Only some of that came through.
I heard it.
Yeah.
Sounds like they hung up.
Is that a language?
yeah, you think someone's attempting to speak to you.
Does it sound like a language?
What?
It's a bunch of chittering and clicks sounds.
Is
Yasuki?
that
I'm
a one
trying to
that I
think what languages I
recognize?
have.
I know a lot of languages.
Yeah, make me. Everyone can make me a culture check. It is gonna be very hard.
33.
I know a ton of languages.
Can I? Actually, I never mind.
25.
Ooh, natural one.
Big Nat 1.
Dr. Lynch just crying.
No,
Why do you
nobody knows
speak
this
Aqua?
language.
Why not?
Are you sure?
La la
I'm
Cthulhu
positive.
Fatagan.
Nobody knows this language.
Aw.
You hear chittering and clicking 3, 4 more times, and then you hear a bunch of shuffling and like as you hear someone else pick up and say, "Yes, are you the ones that killed our dogs?"
Are you the ones that sicked them on us?
Well, anybody coming in as undetected as you did? Yeah.
Well,
It was pretty
Then-
good, wasn't it?
yes.
It was
Shut up,
better
Demon,
than
yes.
many of our pilots could have, but I hope you actually didn't think
Welcome.
you were undetected on a planet such as this.
No, we were mitigating what we could. I'll hold a hand up to Caliban.
Aizen is just like face in his hands of like this like
This is
clandestine
not
meeting
the
at a-
conversation right now.
Len is facing away from the camera, back turned.
Yeah. All
I'll
right.
never notice his shape.
Thank you for accepting the call, and we apologize for damaging your technology and your animals.
That's fine. They're expendable.
We're, if it wasn't obvious from the landing, aiming to go by undetected. Is that going to be an issue? I don't believe that we have anything to worry you about. Just doing our own business.
And that business would be?
Going somewhere and then leaving.
Where, might I ask, are you going on our planet?
So, with this vibe that I'm like going here, their planet. Are they like thinking they're the government right now? Like, are they full on?
They're basically saying that right now they can run the planet. That like whether you can make a sense motive or a culture check or whatever if you want to see if they like actually believe that and kind of stuff. Like if you want to go that route, remember you're on a phone call, kind of hard without facial expressions.
Right. No.
But like yes, by just our planet, you know by the voice this isn't an elf.
Yeah, I mean more this isn't a third party. This is exactly what I thought it was. Like, these are the mercenaries that are on the planet.
Yes.
Okay.
Sense motive to figure out, like, are they playing with us, or do they really have, like, any intent towards us?
Yeah, give me a sense motive.
25.
Okay. Based on this person's voice, you think a little bit of both. You don't know the intent, but you definitely think there's some kind of underlying intent with y'all. That like your sense motive, it doesn't make sense to you. Especially like you as a mercenary, like someone who sells themselves. Like they didn't just come after you for absolutely no reason. You know, like there is some intent with you there. Other than that, he is also definitely playing with y'all, like
For sure.
because he probably finds that fun.
Yeah.
passing usefulness that also playing with us.
I didn't need a check for that. Yes, well, look. To be honest, my ideal and our ideal is to be of little to no consequence at all. Given, of course, your grace in allowing us to do so. Not here to support or change any political structure. Do what you want. We, and I hope you can appreciate, the need sometimes for discretion. Simply here to have a conversation, discreetly, and as such, I would rather not share the details. And again, I'll have no impact on your influence on this planet. We have no interest in that, and we'll return and leave after our business is concluded.
Sure, but your business will affect us. It won't affect our hold on the planet. You couldn't possibly do that, but the business that you have with us does directly affect us. I can tell by the doctor you have with you.
Len tenses notably.
I shoot a look over to Dr. Len like, what did you not tell us? And how the fuck?
He actually doesn't have a
doesn't look at-
license, from my understanding, so there's really no doctor with us. But
Figured it was a matter of time, based on what Zaz had told us.
Who?
Len tenses even more and like just shrinks down, kind of jellyfish condensing.
Zaz, Z-A-Z.
Our dear not a doctor, would you care to join the conversation? Because I don't think I can really talk to this. There is obvious frustration in her voice.
Len slowly turns around. Hello.
Does whatever business you have with these individuals affect us?
I
seems to
would,
be.
if it, I would highly doubt that it would. I mean,
There you have it. I just
Business,
cut you
our
right
business
off.
was very.
There you have it. It won't affect your business.
Okay, I guess you aren't looking for who I thought you were. And they hang up.
The deepest sigh escaped Eisen of just like,
Waffles.
Yeah.
The direction that we get the sense that this is going towards, is it the direction that we need to travel in? Based
Oh
on
yeah,
where-
can I get like a pretty decent ping of where this
Yeah.
is coming from?
Let's go on and do that.
Yeah,
Hey,
pretty decent
this
ping.
is unrelated.
Pretty decent ping. It's the direction that Dr. Lin had y'all traveling in, that like his and Sana's place. But it seems to be like, it's hard to pinpoint it exactly, but it definitely, even triangulating, it seems to be about 2-3 miles off.
to Jabba's palace, just skimming around on the plains.
And reapplying your engineering roll moat. It's like super hard to pinpoint for you with that high of an engineering roll, which leads you to believe that it is probably like in a cave or building.
Okay.
Caliban,
Yeah.
knock that out. And I like nod towards the one wolf that was still conscious.
Can I just blindfold it?
Knock
Beat
it out.
that animal unconscious.
Eisen will immediately punch
Hey,
him
but
like
Thank
without
you.
like as soon as it's like knock that out, like you just hear the smack of stone on skull and a yelp from the wolf.
The
And
communication.
then the wolf cries for mercy, but I keep punching it over and over again.
Trigger
and then I
warning.
stab it.
Trigger
No,
warning.
not at all. That doesn't happen.
The makeshift comm unit communication device that we makeshifted, I am just going to chuck it towards like the dissected bodies. I didn't
you're
want to
not.
destroy
I
it.
am disabling it, and I
I'll
am
just
going
toss
to
it
be
to you.
using that somewhere somehow.
Yeah.
It was in my
So-
possession the whole time, so
Great.
you're not getting a hand. I'm like, mine.
So time out before we start going all renegade and shit. Security advisor came to help everything. They know we're here. They've already identified us. They know more about what's going on than we seem to. Do we really want to just try to hide and then figure it out? Because it seems like we're gonna have to address this in the future.
And I stand up, brush like the leaves off of my pants and just. No, that's a very, very good point. Being able to do our job involves knowing the information, risking our lives to come onto this planet to rescue a friend of yours, Dr. Len, implies a sense of honesty and trust in each other. So please, why don't you enlighten us to who this Zaz is and what the hell is going on?
It really is unrelated to
the current situation?
The current situation.
Okay, so he didn't bring up the person that.
You're not looking.
I could have been talking about anything. So okay. I'll lay all the cards on the table. Everything just so. Things were not always so fortunate for me after I left Primoria, and and sometimes I had to take. Sometimes I worked for reputable companies, producing, drugs. Well, not drugs. Like pills to help people.
Deadly hallucinogens. Yeah.
So drugs.
Well, okay.
Do you work for the Black Butterflies?
Sometimes, twice, maybe three times, and then I needed to. I didn't. I was. It's a very difficult part of my.
Do you think I care? Do you think I right now am going to judge you for that? Don't you think that would have been very useful information to know before?
I severed ties with them. I didn't want to interact with the Black Butterfly ever again.
That
And
doesn't
Sana.
matter if they know who you are. And they clearly do.
Did Sana cut ties?
She involved with them at all? She know them?
Waffle, she isn't to my knowledge, right? No, she.
No, not to your knowledge at all.
This was, like I said, she's completely unrelated.
Based on that question, give me an intelligence check.
Yeah, sure.
Seems like
who are they talking about then?
It very much sounds like they want Sana, and that if we go to get them, we will be leading them right to them.
16.
Okay. It definitely sounded like they, for some reason, knew who you were looking for and knew where they were. You don't know if they have them or not, etc. But whether the one thing you do know is that this is a pretty high intelligence check for just you got a +4, it's a natural 12. The one thing you do know is everything tracks in your brain for a second. It all just kind of connects. That if you have a place and they have been researching back into you to find you recently, and they know your place, and Sana was going to that place, it doesn't matter who she is or if they know her, because she's important to you.
Oh,
okay.
And I would say, Eyes, not that you're wrong, but they wouldn't really stop us here if they wanted to find out where we're going. They would have just had to let us follow and hope we didn't notice.
It depends on if they're looking to have fun or not.
If they were stupid, yes, or not good, but this person seems capable.
Dr. Len. So if they're absolutely not here for Sana, who the hell are they talking about?
I have no idea. They could be here for Sana as some way of, getting to me if we have shot their wolves and angered them.
They seem to be
Why would
aware of
they
our
want
presence when we landed, and they.
I don't know why they'd want me. I
How did you leave
I
off?
told you I cut ties.
Yes.
Rather amicably, I did some work for them. We cut ties, and then I went back to trying to become a doctor.
So I have a
Again.
question, because I've dealt with a lot of different people. It's kind of like a bad relationship. You cut ties with them. Did they feel that ties were cut on their side, and were they cool with that?
Well, I mean, I did my work like a good jellyfish, and then
Uh-huh.
boom.
You just didn't call them back.
Well, there were no further dates if we are going to pursue the
Sure. And then
romantic
do you
relationship.
have any knowledge, that they might consider sensitive? Laboratories, locations, connections,
What
people.
kind of work did you do for them?
No.
Because maybe
Answer
that
the
came back
question.
up.
Well, I suppose I would know a handful of labs, unimportant stuff,
So-
and
No, so they might,
people tied to them.
continue to
like
keep
Zaz.
a bead on you.
They, yeah, probably, yeah.
Or
Sure.
let's say hypothetically, if your experiments were to suddenly show up on a planet, randomly affecting the wildlife, might they take interest in you again?
That
Do
sounds
they have
oddly
any?
specific.
Do they have any connection to your experiments on that front?
Don't worry, it's not that bad.
None that I know of. I would be.
Fine.
Oh, I'm sure they could, but
Tell me something.
as you know, the Telus Corporation is rather it doesn't interact too much with outside organizations.
Well, I don't. Tell me this. Is there anything else that you have kept from us that might be relevant information to, a mission that we're currently on?
This guy's very good on jelly.
I don't trust anything Zaz says. He's
Who specifically is Zaz?
That would be helpful.
just this Yasoki that was kind of my boss while I was working with the Black Butterfly. Complete scumbag. And,
Remind me what the guy said about Zaz? No, I'm forgetting already.
He basically said that, based on what Zaz said, that you said that you wouldn't directly interfere with anything they were doing, and he said based on what Zaz said that wouldn't be true, considering I see the doctor there.
Okay, so now
Now
the Black Butterflies
is-
think that we have some goal. They clearly think we have some goal related to Dr. Lin, right? Like that's a safe assumption.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Len, does Zaz know of Sana?
I'm sure I'm sure he could learn of Sana if he looked into me. I didn't really work for the Black Butterfly until after I finished staying with Sana.
So there's a chance that they don't know, but at the same time, they'd probably also run background and see if anything pops up. So if you think there's a chance he knows, then maybe
It's a
they
safe
do.
bet. Yeah,
What?
It's
Based on where
What
they
is-
are.
What does Sana do?
Sana just kind of a day-to-day worker for one of the pharmaceutical corps in Castrovel. She actually was my connection to a reputable non-street drug producing line of work when I first
What is
arrived
she
here.
doing
So
joining up undercover mercenary group on Castrovel in the first place? If she's just a worker.
I have no idea. I don't even know if she's involved with. Well, I don't know what she's doing. I just got those
only-
esoteric texts and the fact that she's in trouble.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is, well, I mean, if she's a connection to reputable pharmaceutical distributors, then they might have wanted to get their hands on her. And if we're going to take her away, then yeah, it would be kind of fucking with their business, disrupting it.
We should double check that they didn't come from the same place.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, who from the same
Yeah, I'll
place?
check. I'd like to run the signal from the text that Sana sent you. See if I can track that down. See if it'd be a similar location.
Yeah. I mentioned that earlier. I think they're approximately like 2.5 miles away from each other.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So not entirely unlikely.
No.
Let's give it the day. Let's continue making our progress, and we'll give them another call.
Do we want to?
You-
I think we just want to smash and grab at this point.
You
I
say that.
don't think smash and grab.
You say that, and then you hear her talking about smash and grab as Caliban's kind of cut off by one of the alive wolves ringing.
Unconscious but
Hey,
alive.
Hey, yo, your wolf's ringing.
Unconscious but alive ringing.
Boop its
And that's where
nose.
that's where we'll take a break.
It's just vibrating on the
You,
ground.
you open its
Oh.
mouth and hold it to your ear like a phone.
Just hey.
Caliban.
Just
Caliban
open its mouth. Can
speaking.
you hear me? Is this on speakerphone?
You try to hang up by
No.
sticking its tongue. Like it's like, can I just hang up?
Oh goodness. Okay, we're I like this. That's what I gotta say. I'm excited. Thank you, Varso, for letting me yell at you. I appreciate it.
Heck yeah.
We have our break screen ready to go. I switched it to an Eisen line this time around.
Boo.
Boo. All right. We'll go stretch, refresh our drinks, take care of ourselves. You take care of yourselves on the other side of that screen. We care about y'all, so we'll catch you as soon as we get back in just a little bit. All right.
Heck yeah.
Bye.
And we're back.
And we're back. We're back. In
Sorry
it.
for Varso starting.
And we got a call from the wolf.
Yeah. Got a call
Wolf
from
phone.
the wolf. The wolf is ringing. Tell you straight up, Moat, you know that to be able to operate this device, you would have to disconnect it from the wolf. It is connected to the wolf's brain. You would have to kill the wolf.
Couldn't they just ring one of the dead ones?
Oh yeah, I disconnected one of them, and the other one's broke.
Just reconnect the other one,
Yeah.
and we'll call them again.
So they tried to reach us through the one wolf, right?
Yep. And I'll say continue to roll for this engineering roll, so you're not constantly making engineering rolls here. But they did what took you about an hour and about 20 minutes, and it was connected to the wolf. That doesn't mean they're better than you. Like honestly, it just you think that the person, it's the person that made the technology.
Sure.
Yeah, it makes sense for it to be like a quicker thing for someone who already knew, like I was figuring it out. So that's
Yeah, we can
that's
just
fine.
reconnect the one we used, can't we?
I mean,
that
yeah,
on you?
I mean,
I'd
I
like
don't know.
if the wolf isn't still ringing, then yeah, I'd like to reconnect and
even if the wolf is still ringing, are you going to try to kill it and take it out right now, or do you want to just ring back on the one that we have?
we'll ring back on the one we already have. We can remove that one later.
I love the line that constantly keeps getting said. If the wolf is ringing,
Yeah.
if the wolf is still ringing, well, if the wolf is ringing, are you gonna kill it?
I imagine
I
just vibrating
have
on the
another
ground,
shirt now.
Just like, just do-do-do-do-do.
You know that picture. I think it was like Moon at the time, but that one wolf that has its like head back and its like mouth open. So that, and it's just gonna be like laser wolves. Now also telephones.
It's a mint. It's like a Mint Mobile commercial or something.
I'll just. Oh my god, I have a design in my head. Anyways, go on.
Okay. But no, that wolf stops ringing. Yeah, you take another 2 minutes. You reconnect the other one, and you definitely think you have the connection established, and you can call if you want.
Yeah, we're
We
calling.
want.
You've reached Joe's Crab Shack. We have crabs.
It rings 2, 3 times, and you hear, yes, you didn't want to answer my call.
This is just easier. What? You're the one that hung up.
Yes, but it seems you are delineating. I figured you would go back to your ship, tails tucked.
Oh, no, did we not? You know, sorry, miscommunications can happen when you end the conversation prematurely. We have a task to complete, and we were hoping to complete that. Now, you mentioned something
Among Us
about
refers.
a Zaz and our good friend, Doctor here. This has nothing to do with
Yes.
any of his previous work, as I've now found out. Can you clear up what concerns you might have, and we can determine whether or not we have any conflict between us?
Well, my concerns are plenty clear.
Perhaps to you, but not to us. Can you clarify?
Sure, that would mean I hold the cards and you don't. What would you like to know?
Your concerns.
Well, my concern is that you're on this planet for something that involves the doctor, not doctor, whatever you want to call him now. I think he is just a Cyphozoan.
Just Len is fine.
Sure. He is looking for somebody, right?
Nobody to do with you.
You hear it in the background, very showy. Hey, he's looking for that sauna, right? Yeah, we have
Check.
her. Oh, I do think it has something to do with me.
Ah, well, that does change things. So, you have her? Is it for purpose of blackmail for our good doctor, not doctor friend?
Yes.
Does he hold something that you require? Do you want to, place the terms?
He is a very good dancer. Maybe they just want to dance.
I would be happy to dance to
I
ensure
just
her
try
freedom.
to shut him up as quickly as I can.
You hear like a longer pause, possibly venting into the frustration point,
We're considering.
and you hear, well, I very much doubt he currently holds it, as I do know he is attempting to get his license back. That said, I would like him to hold it and then hand it to us, much like he used to.
I look over at Dr. Lin and raise an eyebrow.
Waffles, is it here referring to drugs or I'm
Yes, they want you to make the same drugs you used to make. To elaborate on that a little more, they want you to. You probably don't know this, but Dr. Lin could easily surmise based on the drugs you used to make. They want you to supply their current mercenary troop with drugs.
I have a question, and I truly don't mean offense, but you've
That's not a
gone
good
and
start.
kidnapped somebody for a purpose and never mentioned that purpose or wanted outcome, and you expected us to leave. How does that get you what you want?
Well, to be frank, I don't want to deal with you, but it seems that you are very intertwined with Dr. Lin. I would much rather contact him after you left.
Why after? If you want him here, he's here. It's a waste of gas.
A waste of breath to talk, but we're doing it.
Well, shall we meet up then?
Sure. I believe you have our location.
All right. Well, we'll see you in a day or two.
All right. Hangs up.
So, as your security advisor,
Hold on.
I
Wait.
What was that about
Wait.
crash and grab? Mm-hmm.
They didn't put Sana on the camera. They could be
Wait.
bullshitting.
Let me disconnect everything.
yep. I
I'm gonna
wait.
disconnect. I'm gonna
mean, the thing
disconnect
is, there's the other wolf.
communicator. I'm going to build a signal jammer out of one of the data pads, which is going to last for an hour, and then we can talk. I'm going to have it. Actually, I'm going to build two. Since I have two data pads, I'm going to take 20 minutes, build one that jams radio signals and one that builds wireless signals. So we'll be able to just talk freely.
Okay.
Unless
Easy
it's
enough.
magic, in which case, fuck us.
Yeah. Yeah, if they're scrying on you, then oh well.
Detect magic.
The way he says that. Waffles is like, let me look at my sheet. Yep, that's there.
I do detect magic.
So,
You detect all the magic items you have on each other and the wolves' magic, basically.
Cool. And we'll
it's
like
kind of
keep the wolves away so that they don't like if it picks up signal now. Like, well,
Sure.
I'm just petting one.
Throw them
So,
off the
yeah,
mountain. Gotcha.
As I was saying about being your security advisor on this, I liked having the conversation not in their evil compound. Happy to figure out a deal in which we hand over the jellyfish for the friend prior to arriving. But if we go there, like, what's the expectation of getting away? Are we planning that? Because we're expendable and they'll just keep the jelly.
no, I did what I
Make
needed.
the drugs.
What drugs?
What did you say,
Dr.
Mo?
Ben?
Just make the drugs.
That's a process.
Not only
Well,
is that
I mean,
a process,
it's a-
there's
Get
no
started.
end in
I-
sight for that collaboration.
I mean, I've done it before. Well,
What?
you're right. Ideally, I wouldn't. But if it meant getting Sana out, I'd be willing to break bad again.
But then then they'd own him.
You would never leave, Dr. Len. You understand that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah,
How important is this friend to you?
very. I barring any other option, and assuming they're not bluffing,
I wouldn't count on it.
Zeha's gonna like get up and just go for like not very far away from the group, but on a frustrated walk. She's gonna like toss some rocks against the cliff and just takes a moment to herself.
So, let's play this out. They want you to make drugs for their Merc army, right?
yeah.
If that's the case, we have two choices. Either you go with them, we arrange your friend to leave. Happy days, your friend's good. You get to make drugs for the cartel for however long you want or whatever they are. Great. Everybody's happy. Option 2, we go in and do the stupid thing and try to free her. We could succeed. My guess is they have a planet under hold, so they could figure this out.
Plus, they saw our ship come in. So
Yeah, there's a lot of bad to this, is what I'm trying to get at. So if we go there, they're not going to kill you, but they don't really have a need for the four of us, and we're just potential future help for you. So they'll just kill us, or I would. So there's not a lot of options. We either leave, we let you trade off, or we go in and try to do the stupid heroic thing. Which, hey, maybe.
I'm open to any option. Honestly, I see this as a dry run for what's coming next, so this is all within my calculation.
What?
Uh,
What?
None of you came after the fact of what comes next, Caliban. And we'll
Alright,
figure
well,
it
I
out
think
later.
this is a one mission plan then. Alright. This is the warm up. I'm not really sure I want the full party. Thoughts? Or, I can pilot us out just fine depending on their AA capabilities and if they have air superiority here by now. I don't think I've heard a plane yet, but who knows?
It's really Len who gets to make that call.
Well, I can't, in good faith, allow you all to sacrifice your lives to clean up my mess. And I also can't abandon my good friend Sana because of my mess. So, I think probably the best thing is for me to do my time here.
To
Get this
facilitate
done.
a trade.
Yep. Facilitate a trade.
It's going to be more complicated than that. You realize.
Maybe.
I don't know that we're worth it.
Len has certain
And-
background.
Maybe with luck, they just want the drugs and I could produce it in an off site. But that's unlikely.
Wandering back into the makeshift camp. Dr. Lin, you have unfinished business with things that directly affect the Starfinder Society. I can't in good consciousness send you off to indeterminate amount of time of blackmail and I just no, I can't.
Yeah, well, I can't in good conscience let my friend die or get held in a damn prison complex for the rest of her life until this civil war ends.
No, but there's something that they said that irks me. Quite cockily, they thought that we had zero influence into the political situation of this planet. And I think if we fix that, we fix a lot of things. However, God, I did not want to be on the bad side of the black butterflies. Well, that was the one thing.
Also, I was promised a short amount of time here. I'm not spending enough time here, considering the timetable I have.
Yes, there's so many individual threads here. If you stay, what happens to the adaptation serum?
That's a great question.
The Starfinder Society has all of my research notes.
And have they been progressing on that in your absence?
Waffles, have they been progressing on that in my absence?
Very, very, very slowly.
Yes.
I raise an eyebrow.
Yes, minorly.
Minorly.
At their own pace.
At their own pace.
We really need to teach you to lie better.
It's not lying.
That was so cute.
I think Boss Lady's point of option 4 is stage insurrection and get on the guerrilla war paint. Yeah.
One more. Well, what specific drugs did you provide them, and why do they have sudden use for it now?
Yeah, Waffles, I was wondering that. What drugs did I make?
Well, since you didn't give me any, I took my liberties. And who's seen Cowboy Bebop?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Everyone knows Red Eye?
Oh,
No!
Joy, you did that.
No!
Oh, Joy. No wonder they want
performance enhancing.
Yeah. They want super soldiers. That's what they want. They want Captain America. Okay.
I see.
There you go. It's something similar to that.
Okay.
Did you say, and you hear that?
Yeah, Len will describe it. A combat performance enhancing drug. that can also be used for pleasure.
Of course.
A stimulant, to put it simply.
So, what if they don't have a use for it anymore?
They don't have a use for that anymore?
In this immediate situation?
I'm sure they'd find a use for it somewhere, to be fair.
Yes, but they didn't bother him until now. How
Then
many
my
years has it been?
tenure is up, I presume.
Devil's advocate, pretending we decide to get rid of the mercenary army through mass revolution. That also has the potential to just piss them off, and in which case logic and reason go out the window and they no longer come after us for purposeful reasons and more just fuck you vengeance. I'm all for it. It sounds like your rock friend wants to be out of here in that time, but hey, I'm down to train up the locals.
Not quite the direction we're going in.
I like that direction though, but all right.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Waffles. I just want to make sure that I have this right.
You're
They're all on this planet because the queen has been kidnapped.
I mean, that's a very, very simplified way of looking at it, but yes.
Okay. There was something about dialing a number and then the price going up about the queen's whereabouts. What can you remind me exactly what that is?
Yeah, they basically said, we have the queen, here's the blackmail, here's our price, serious inquiries only. Every non-serious inquiry, we're jacking the price up 100,000 credits.
Oh, so that's the people that have the queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Arvin told us specifically, don't touch that, whatever you do, or we will be very upset with you.
But
Yeah,
guys,
the Starfinder Society is like kind of on that, but also kind of doesn't care enough to jack up the price unless they're going in nukes blazing. Like,
guys, we know from a lore drop where the Vesk and Skittermander are. Let's just go there. Come on.
Yeah, let's just metagame.
Yeah, let's just break reality.
There's a
do
lore
you
drop.
even? Do you even? know?
Yeah.
Somewhere in the diaspora,
In
I
the
believe.
drift.
Somewhere in space.
Yeah, somewhere in space.
The diaspora. It's
And
probably a big,
like I
big
have,
space
like I
station.
have mentioned before, we have the thing that they originally kidnapped her for. So, like,
That's true.
whether or not we could pay hundreds of thousands of credits, which I'm pretty sure the price is like in the millions or something like that now, because I feel like that's what was said. Like, if there's anybody that's going to have a chance at, piquing their interest, it's us.
Wait.
We've got the one data pad they wanted that had potential information of freaking, what's it called? I forgot.
Grace?
Pre-gap knowledge.
Pre-gap knowledge.
Caliban, don't know if you're aware, we're part of the reason this whole thing happened on the planet.
We are not responsible.
Didn't say
loosely
responsible.
aware.
Part of the reason.
But
What do you mean
I will
loosely aware?
say, I got the Cliff Note version of what you guys were up
Okay.
to. But I will say, not 100% sure what's going on. I'm not sure these people with the mercenary army are really here for whatever grand purpose you're here for. It's more of a, hey, we have a planet, and that's pretty dope.
Yeah, that makes us a lot of money.
Yeah. Is an
Do we know who's hired the Black Butterfly to do this, or if this is like a private venture that they're just going on?
I'll tell you. You and Tetsu would know, not Caliban. Tetsu.
I
But-
know.
You know that if somebody hired the Black Butterfly, then they're in control of multiple planets.
Okay.
Like you don't hire the Black Butterfly unless like you're waging war. Because the Black Butterfly hires people.
So
But
either
every
it's someone
crime lord needs
ludicrously
his throne.
powerful, or the Black Butterfly is just doing this because they want to.
One of those two, or the Black Butterfly is just an independent organization within here. Like there's a lot of different ways. It's just in your mind. It's unlikely that the Black Butterfly has been hired, and if they have, it's super bad.
Yeah.
So they're here for whatever reason. and they need protection of combat enhancing drugs.
So, not to get stuck on this point, I think our options, if we're not trading Dr. Lan and we're not leaving, if we don't want to do the full scale, let's take over the planet with the good guys, whatever, we could focus our attentions and link up with local resistance and just say, hey, let's be on the same team for a bit. It's still not a short path, but we could be like, hey, we know somebody who's kind of a big deal here. Let's do a win-win, and we take them out, you take them out. They're not your problem anymore. We get the thing we want.
That
They
still
killed
puts us
Dr. Len's
directly
friend and-
opposite the wants of the black butterfly.
Who will then hunt us down?
Yeah, no, we're gonna piss this person off if we don't give Dr. Len over. So,
Or leave.
like,
They
it's
won't be
kind of
as
what.
pissed if we just leave.
Well, then they're gonna want Dr. Len to just call up and figure it out. But still,
The only person
want
I
what they
know on
want.
this planet that we could talk to is V.
Assuming that she's still alive.
Correct. But I don't
don't
know that
need-
that's something that we have the time for.
I'm talking about
Do-
locating local cells, which I
Yes,
can
V
find.
is a local rebel.
Well, no,
Out
he's
of
talking.
character.
I-
Isn't that a different continent?
Yeah.
I mean, out of character, yeah, but it's
Yeah.
also on the same planet, which is about as local as you can ever hope to get.
Well, I mean, like, within town area.
Yeah, I don't. That's
Sure.
a long ass operation, I think.
Yes.
Did I get the contact information of the new advisors to the Queen when I was here as Hal?
What do you mean the new? Oh, those people.
Yeah.
Those two that I took the video of.
The husband
Yeah,
and
you
wife?
did.
Do
Okay.
we know the status of like the the previous political structure, how it was left with the mercenaries? Like, there's still
Some of the old structure.
there
That's a
be
thread I
government
want to
officials
tug right
left.
now.
Yeah, I mean, you assume there's government officials left, whether they have been kidnapped or being blackmailed and or just in hiding. Like, it doesn't seem that governments are running currently.
Okay.
I'd like to use a burner comm unit to make contact with those two and say, "Hey, this is Hal. Was close to planet again. Was wondering how you guys were holding up. Is everything working out? Heard there's lots of mercenaries on site.
Oh yes, it's crazy here. You're the little one that took our video, right?
Yeah. You see the posts?
Oh yes, there was great work. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Very excited to hear that. So there's is the government even still there? How's the city?
Here, like a long pause. The city's not doing great. There's a lot of people with guns kind of running around, but if you stay out of their way, it seems they usually leave everybody alone. As far as the government, here another pause. Little chittering in the background, like they're talking to each other probably. Yeah, it didn't quite work out. We never got the position as the advisors.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's really bad. I know you're so excited about that.
Rub it in.
Well,
Yeah.
hoping you stay safe. Man, I was really hoping to come to planet. I was hoping. Do you have anybody you know that is good people out here that maybe aren't the gun-toting kind, or at least a good gun-toting kind?
We have a few in Savirian, but I'm unfortunately hear a little more chittering in the background. Not really in a position to give out names right now.
That's completely understandable. I guess I'll just stay away for the moment. Well, like I said, stay safe. don't piss off the assholes, and well, you'll make it.
Yes, you as well. Please stay safe. Keep posting those videos.
Oh, absolutely. Click.
All right.
Reset. Factory reset phone.
Wipe it.
Grenade.
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah,
What's the
so,
plan?
Yeah, not that avenue is kind of burnt.
So, I think our best option is, if we're not going to make an action soon, is to get out soon before they can close off airspace. So it's either choose a direction, whether it's long term or short term, or get the hell out. There's not really anything other than those.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Lin,
Either
I think
we're
we should
in
get
for the
out.
long haul.
I can't abide that. So it's either we smash in and cause some chaos and do what we have to do, or we leave.
I just look at
I
Dr.
mean,
Lin.
look,
How long do we anticipate? How long do you anticipate the long version taking, Caliban?
If you do the shorter long version,
Months?
3 to 6 months. I mean, maybe if you're lucky, 1 to 2, but 3 to 6 months, and that's if you're doing it good. And if there is a stable population that doesn't like what's going on, maybe. The long term version, you don't want that one.
Let's head back to the
I
ship.
think
Hold on. Len, finish what you were going to say.
I can't abide that. I can't.
Then we
And-
either have
and
the
if any-
stupid option or the safer option.
I want one more call with the Black Butterfly, and I want to see that they actually have Sana, and I want to know their demands, and then
they kind of know their demands, honestly.
Can we...
You're the demand. And
I-
they have
I-
her.
specific demands. These specifics are important.
What if... The thing is, Dr. Lin, I really can't have you just throwing everything away to save... Perhaps we can find a middle ground, is what I'm saying. If
Middle
the
ground.
if the demands are from our end to give some time, keep her safe, get your proof, see her, get your proof that she's safe, and then request for some time, and then you'll return to planet. Whether that's to finish up your business with
These people don't operate in middle grounds.
On
They have a gun.
on
They have a gun to my head, and metaphorically speaking, and will do whatever they please. They have a
To
planet
speak
under their
on-
control.
To speak on Dr. Lin's behalf, they need the drugs now, not 3 months from now. Whether they control a decent segment of the group here or everything going on, they need their troops more functional now, which is why they want a drug group pharmacist person.
well, this is your decision.
Or it's your decision, and I could put a gun to the jellyfish's head and walk him back to the starship. Your call, Captain.
This is
You are
decision.
welcome to blow my brains out on the spot, but you're not going to get a lot done.
No, I'll just do what you guys did to the wolf and beat you into unconsciousness and then drag you onto the ship.
You want to
It's
call them
very
again?
easy.
Can I, Waffles, like...
Do we
is
have a
there-
solid plan
Sure.
for the conversation before we do this? Because I don't want to run into. Well, we think this. They come back with, no, you can't leave or you're gonna die. I wanted to understand how we're gonna respond to that before. the conversation starts.
I agree. I think we need to make the call with the intent of either giving up Dr. Len or you have a very good plan. Other than that.
What I was hoping to roll and understand, like, I understand that what I was raised to do within the Ramsam 10 is not really dealing with mercenaries, but it does deal with some forms of like manipulation of situations and things like that. I myself am sort of at a loss of like what tactic to take, but I always like to ask like if there's anything that Zeha might know being trained in this that I don't.
Sure. Yeah, give me a culture check real quick. Since you use culture for basically everything by the time you're level 6.
Broken!
Let's see. Oh, that's a I'm gonna use my hero point on this. Or sorry, my chicky nuggy.
Hrinthal flesh.
Okay. 26.
Okay. I mean, the problem is, if you were working with someone on even footing, you know what to do.
Right.
The big problem, and you've always known this from a diplomat, you don't go into situations when they have the upper hand. Either you have the upper hand and you're trained to turn even footing to you having the upper hand.
Right.
You're not trained to win a losing situation.
Mm-hmm.
That said, the only bargaining chip you can ever think of is giving these people money, because that's what mercenaries want, or a favor from a very big organization. And if that's not the case, then they have you where they want you and make a decision. Like you know that in your heart.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Captain, I was thinking of something. I have another option we could present if we want to try to negotiate. I'm on planet, and you technically have a second pilot, so you can get off planet because your other pilot wants to leave. Theoretically, we could just say, hey, let's have a conversation in which we're not against each other, and we don't leave our let's just call him special operations person behind to make your life difficult when it doesn't have to be. You can find another pharmacist, and we can leave with Pretty Girl A and get Jellyfish Man his best friend back and leave and not cause any harm instead of causing a lot of potential harm and future, espionage and special operations and other explosives.
The
Jellyfish
best,
man is a rather offensive phrase, if you could.
the best
I've seen the
bargaining
acronym.
chip from my research
Best is him.
is to exchange. Taking away and saying, hey, please don't take Dr. Len, that's just not going to work. But offering them something in exchange is probably the best we can. They're looking for pharmaceuticals. Didn't you have a friend, Dr. Len, in pharmaceuticals?
Oh, that's rather devilish.
You mean back on Primoria?
Yes.
We mean your
One
former
that betrayed
partner.
you and
Yes,
you...
the one that threw me off the planet and ruined my life's work. And yeah, my very, very good friend, Rin.
Yes.
I do like what you're thinking.
Do you have anything on him? Or on them?
Besides my honest word that he stole the adaptation, well, the adaptation formula from me and used it to turn it into some sort of bioweapon. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, bioweapon? Because this person does not need a bioweapon.
No.
Let's be
But-
clear on
But
that
you
one.
know
Len can
what
also make a
can take
bioweapon.
on the black butterflies, or rather what makes it not our problem, is another large corporation.
Mm-hmm.
If
So you're saying draw Tellas here.
No, I'm saying exchange. This relies on some information, something, Dr. Len, that you can provide here. It relies on if we say there's somebody else that'll do exactly what you're needing, and here is blackmail that you have on them. Why are they choosing you, Dr. Len? Because they can force you to do what they want. Because they have blackmail on
And
you.
because I'm very talented.
Of course.
Yeah.
So here's somebody else that can do what you want. Here's blackmail that is superior to them. We don't talk about the Telus Corporation, but I can only hope that that is a nice little hiccup in their plan after we're well away and not involved anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can see there's like hesitation on Len's quote unquote face for like a few moments, and he's like, yeah. Screw Ren, yeah.
Okay, logistical question.
Yep.
If they already have exactly what Len wants in order to force him to make what they want,
It has to be
why do they give a
better.
shit if the other guy can do the same thing? They know Len can do it. Why would they let him walk away and bring in somebody else when they
Because
already have everything they need for him?
because Rin has something better.
Mm-hmm.
Rin has something that Dr.
Biological
Len
weapon?
doesn't have access to. We've heard it on
A
the
penthouse
streets.
and a Lamborghini.
We've heard rumors of it. We don't know exactly what it
Doctorate?
is,
Shut up.
but we've heard it can adapt your soldiers to any environment.
He has all of Len's original notes, things that
In
Len
fact-
said he couldn't reproduce.
Well, I almost don't want to implicate
Wait, if
Dr.
they
Len in
find
this
out
at
I'm
all.
capable of reproducing
I'm
the
not implicating
adaptation
you.
project, it took me 10 years to make that. It'll take me another
No.
like 5.
Did-
You,
without-
Dr.
no.
Len, are not
Waffles.
involved. An old partner of yours, however, you heard rumors of.
Yeah. Very, very reputable rumors when I was a doctor.
Waffles. Did Arvin
Sure.
clue me in at all what this adaptation serum is with the cliff notes? I think you said he did, but I just want to know
What?
before I say something.
No.
No? Okay.
I don't think he would have, no.
All
I
right.
think you would have been a little bit clued in on Grace, like they have an
Right.
AI, like that kind of thing. But like,
Yeah.
no, I don't think he would have thought it was at all necessary to let you know.
That's unfortunate.
Ren's a problem
Or-
as he is, but
This involves potentially introducing these people to the adaptation serum. I want you to know that is a risk.
it's already here, to be fair.
Do you have some on you, Dr. Len?
I have a sample of it back in the ship.
If they need proof, you can use me.
No. I
What
was.
would you do?
I don't want to
Inject
use
it into
it.
one of their fucking dogs.
Yes, I was thinking that.
I'm really confused. What bioweapon is this that you guys think this is better than performance enhancing super soldier serum?
It is not better. It is far more dangerous.
Yeah.
That
But they
sounds
need
better
to
for a soldier.
think that it's better. If they think
So
it's
is
better,
dangerous a thing we want to release?
no, it's not. But what we want is to send them on their way to the other one to get it. We want to send them on their way to them and hope that the Telus Corporation is big enough to stop them and let that be a war amongst themselves that we are not involved in.
What if they already have their hands on this?
The adaptation.
The adaptation serum. What if they already have their hands on it?
We're not. I mean, then the only possible idea that I had of leverage is gone, and it doesn't change the situation that we're currently in.
I guess in that
So-
sense, the question would be, do they know who is making it? They may have it, but they may not know who. And if we can give them a name, that could be worth it.
I. This has to be done very carefully. Well, we're missing one vital piece. What blackmail do you have on Rin to ensure that we can share with them that would ensure his cooperation.
Well, I imagine his intel is his ties to the adaptation serum, but quite literally that's simply word of mouth.
All
We
right.
need some of his personal information.
You would need family, friends, loved ones, people that they can put guns to heads,
Mhm.
things that you probably don't have or probably not comfortable giving away.
Okay.
And most people on Primoria don't really care much about their family, and Rin wasn't much of a friendly man.
We will exchange. We have to. Okay. All right. We're going to have to assume that they don't know about it. And then we're going to say, sure, you can have Dr. Len to make you this serum, the same serum that I've heard about from years ago. But there's something newer on the market, and you'll hardly stand a chance against that. Now, if you want information about where to acquire that, we need assurances that your friend Dr. Len is safe. Give her back to us, and we'll give you the information to get your source elsewhere and leave.
If we want to add spice to this, we could also mention the lab on the moon that many people are aware blew up,
True.
essentially.
They
We
can
were
fact
there
check.
and we managed to pick over the one sample that remained.
That would be enough to bait them.
If we can inject it into the wolves, will they be able to recreate it, Dr. Len, or is that enough of a sample to show what it does without their ability to recreate it?
Waffles, do I think they'd be able to recreate it from the wolves?
It's pretty hard to recreate it from it after it has been injected into something, because then it's binded with them. They
Without
might be
one
able
of
to
you
recreate
two.
it for wolves specifically,
Yeah.
but that's it.
Okay. Is it on the ship, or do you have it? I mean,
I'd say, like, I didn't really think of it until now, but I'd say Len would keep it on the ship rather than carrying it with him all the time.
okay.
He just
How
trips
far are
in
we?
class breaks.
Yeah,
Away
like
are we from the ship?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like an hour and a half.
Okay. Let's get it before we start this.
Mm-hmm.
And could I possibly like duplicate my sample of it, like let the algae grow into 2 algae and then put it in a different test tube? Because I don't want
You
to
could-
lose my one sample.
You could take a smaller sample of like cut it in half basically.
Oh, okay.
You definitely can't like duplicate it like in 2 hours, or you would have already
Yeah,
done that
that's-
probably.
Would the
That's
half
perfect, okay.
be enough for the wolf?
Dr. Lin thinks it like should be, for
Okay.
sure. It's if you have this, then you're probably like diluting it too much.
All right.
Also, don't forget, Dr. Len, I did get you 2 tree samples back, so you have extra samples
From
back.
the moon.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but you put them in the lab, I think, in the Starfinder Society. So you have a
Did I?
little bit
Okay.
left.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I do have a question. So
Yeah.
say we show this potential mysterious super serum that nobody has, and it's just a thing that exists somewhere. What does that do for this individual right now? Because it sounds like nothing, and it's a path that they can chase in the future, but doesn't help them in their actual current.
We're
need.
not going to give them the information until we acquire Sana.
Okay, that sounds like they won't do that, but I wouldn't, is my concern. And so I'm asking, when we're on the phone with them and saying, hey, we know this other drug that's way better. Can we have the thing we want so we can be like basically off planet, and then we'll tell you what we know of the thing that's way better then you can figure it out from there? See where that makes me uncomfortable as the person, this black butterfly person. I wouldn't be super comfortable letting you just leave without having something tangible.
I believe what we would do is, in exchange for Sana, we inject one of their wolves as a demonstration.
That it exists somewhere, and they don't
that
have it.
they're better suited Otherwise, it's competition. And again, like with all of this, like Waffles, can Zeha's brain be going a mile a minute to use this to manipulate?
Sure. You definitely think it's possible. The two hitches in your plan currently. Caliban's brought up one.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be very hard to get off planet without any kind of anything to show for it. Actually, the 3 hitches. 2, you need to get them in touch with somebody that can procure this for them, because Dr. Lin can currently procure the other drug for them. 3, and probably the biggest hitch I think Dr. Lin and maybe all of you would think of after this run-in, the adaptation serum is not immediate, and it is also potentially deadly. If you inject the wolf and it dies, what does that do for you?
Right. That's why I was suggesting me, because it would at least show.
Then they'll want
And
to
I
keep
doubt I would
you.
die.
You have business elsewhere.
Yeah, but well, if he dies getting injected with it, then we can stay here long term, easy. Rebellion
guess,
arc begins.
Yeah, let me take that back. It's actually not deadly. You either fight it off or you get into a coma and then adapt.
turn into a plant.
And so basically, I guess the argument is you would want something to fail.
Right.
Right. But it would take a while to figure it out.
I could
Yeah,
harvest massive chunks of flesh from the wolf to reduce its constitution modifier and get vaccines.
Wow. All right,
Goodness.
sociopath. Chill out.
I'm providing avenues, guys.
Every option you provide is
Do I think I have a chance of finding where Rin is right now if I try to research?
I mean, not just a shot in the dark, no.
We need to like go to his homeworld and like dig.
That's
we
not.
need to...
That's not an option for right now.
They think I'm a bioterror. Well,
It sounds like you are, but
no. Well, the Telus Corporation spread rumors I was a bioterrorist and
man, you
planning
made super
to
soldier
poison
drugs for a cartel.
pharmaceuticals.
You
That's
did
unrelated.
big drugs with.
That
That's
sounds
not-
related.
I
Okay,
needed money.
okay.
I needed money.
So how about we
Reasonable.
simply ask to keep Sana safe, and we'll go get them this person.
I think that's our best bet.
That'll get us off the planet, probably.
That sounds
For
reasonable.
short term.
Do you
It means
understand what
meeting
this
Ren again.
means, Dr. Lin?
That we kidnap Rin and deliver him to the Black Butterfly.
Within like 2 to 3 months, where they start sending fingers of your friend
Yeah.
as a
I mean,
reminder
we
to
can.
hurry up.
I know. But yeah,
Okay,
we
just-
can do that. That's
Can I sense motive, or rather for me, culture, Dr. Lin, on this?
Sure.
I'd also like to make a sense motive. I'm pretty sure I can read Dr. Len at this point pretty well, but I just want
21.
20.
Like I always do, Dr. Lin, tell them what you think they would know about what you're saying, basically.
And just to help
I
you
think
out, like, is this something Dr. Lin is trying to convince himself, but like I don't think necessarily he'll follow through. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff.
so. Like he, Zeha, I think he mentioned to you that like Rin was his like first and greatest friend,
Yes.
and like they were work partners for like 10 years, and then like he got betrayed. So probably, at least for you, it's easy to assume he's like having difficulty like rationalizing kidnapping his past friend and delivering him to like a cartel. I think that's a reasonable response.
That is very reasonable.
No,
But like, and he's also just ever since the situation at the Ghost Forge, and kind of feeling like he's not been resolute enough. Like sometimes he'll just get into these moods of like, I'm gonna do what comes to mind and go really hard with it. I'm a tough man.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like probably both of you can get that.
1 second. And I'm going to look at you, Eisen, and I'm gonna like sidebar real quick.
Eisen will just kind of like slightly like sigh and sidebar with you as he's like,
Yeah.
well, here it goes.
We can't ask Dr. Lin to do this. This is just not going to work.
I mean, but it is a good idea. He doesn't have any scruples, and he's going to release the form anyway. It's already on planet.
Yes, but I don't think Dr. Len is going to be able to go through with this. Betraying one friend for another, he's clearly has issues when it comes to trust and us, and I feel like this is the wrong thing to imbue in him as a moral, though I know
Fair.
our hands are tied right now.
I mean, there is the other option of, depending on how good you are, lying through your teeth enough to the point where we can use the one bargaining chip we do have, which is the single vial, to be flashy enough to buy us time. For your plan to work, we'll need to meet them in person. They won't do this over a phone, and by the time we're in person, we either need to understand that we're going to grab her and go, or they need to let us walk out of there. There's no other ways around it.
Yes, and there's no way. What I handle best, and I'll actually turn back to everybody for this. What I handle best is when you have kernels of truth that you're able to stretch into what you need. Lying fully, there's just too many holes, and it's not going to work. Also, I have zero interest in pissing off the black butterflies. So
There is.
I'll be completely honest, and I just kind of sit down on a stump of something. I have no idea what to do.
The goal is to not piss off the black butterflies and to get Dr. Len's friend off this planet. Yeah, give him Dr. Len.
I thought the going after Ren was a pretty good idea. I mean,
that's fine. How dangerous is this bioweapon?
No,
because you all make it sound like it's dangerous.
It's more of like a highly infectious disease that causes one to adapt to their surroundings in a rather extreme manner.
Do we have a functioning one, or is the one that we have not the finished product?
We have just a sample of the algae that can infect people, I believe.
From the research notes, I thought that eventually they actually perfected it, right?
It seemed like they were, it seemed like they were going through perfecting it. I don't think the research notes ever said that they did, but that's what the facility was based on, was attempting to try to perfect it. It seemed like they were getting very positive results, and then the doctor stopped reporting to them.
Yeah.
That guy, he grew a conscience, and then they sent the killer who then murdered all the...
And then we found the lab.
So, technically, though, what we have for all we know is a finished product. For what we know.
Minus the fact that it infected algae.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a serum. It is algae that has adapted.
Okay.
Right.
That can affect others.
Then would have to slightly adapt it, and then it would have to. Yeah, there's a whole.
It could be made into a serum potentially.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah, all that does, if we show that we have it on us, is another reason to get Dr. Len there. I don't... This has to be 100% send them in a different direction. But even then, and we sell how amazing this is, and whatever, there is the now, and then there is the future. They'll just say, fantastic, thank you for letting us know, Dr. Len, come make this now, and we'll continue and get that later.
There is the other option.
The Ren option is an option. I'm not comfortable with us not necessarily giving up a person, but giving up a weapon that's actually dangerous and potentially uncontrollable.
That's why I'm not giving them anything. The original, I don't, right now.
You wanted to go after Ren, which means if we do that, because you don't want to piss off the butterflies, then we actually have to follow through with it.
I think for that to work, for the Rin method to work, we have to send them to Rin and hopefully be blocked by the Tellus Corporation, which has nothing to do with us. It won't work if we have to go and do that.
You had talked about us going and getting Ren.
I realize
and-
that's not going to work.
I mean, it'll work. It's just that's the only way. If they have to go and do it, they're not interested.
Right.
I don't think.
So
there is another way to do it.
What's that?
We call Talos. We right. The answer is we don't worry about pissing off the butterfly, and we bring the problem here. And then
So I'm new to this group, but it sounds like you're all trying to be very clever about a very real and simple problem.
well, it's slightly the complicated problem is we don't want to spend a piece.
I'm
That's
emptying
the
my
bigger
bag
problem.
on the table to see what possible items we have for leverage. That's really all I'm doing.
We are going to have to spend either time, reputation, or a person. One of those threes is getting spent. Which one of you wants to bite the bullet?
I can't afford time or a person.
Right, I understand. Nobody can bite the bullet. So our best option is to put a gun to Dr. Len's head, get on the ship and leave. And just get out of here. Because again, we're on a timetable. We have an answer or we get out. That is my professional opinion. And you have an object here that seems kind of top secret because I barely got told about it. And it's
Okay.
advanced AI. And if they find that when they raid us, then we're double fucked.
We don't talk about that.
I understand. That's why I'm saying let's go.
So looks at the tree. Just like-
Waffles. Do I think that if we just leave, that Sana will immediately be killed, or will I think like will they try to hold on to their leverage? Does that, you know what I mean?
I mean, they'll hold on to her as long as she's useful. If y'all leave without any contact, I can tell most of y'all, at least the three of y'all, Caliban, Eisen, and Zeha, if y'all leave without any contact and they don't really think they have a way to follow y'all or get in touch or any of that, she'll eventually be killed because she's not useful. It's not like she's a doctor or something. Like
That's why Caliban suggested a gun to Doctor's head. Like, if we're not giving them the doctor because we choose not to give the doctor, then we take the doctor. Like, either we take the doctor's choice away or we give them the doctor.
We just give
But
them
it's-
another doctor. Take away the...
But we don't have another doctor
Yes,
that is
but
skilled like
everything
this.
we just said with Rin, but take away the adaptation serum. Just leave,
doctor do we
say,
have
we're
that
going to
can
go
make
ahead and get you a
drugs?
doctor, and bring Rin, say, fuck you, Rin.
That involves
So-
a whole nother raid on another different
Yeah,
planet.
that's very
someone
fair.
heavily guarded. That's
No. We can
objectively
definitely
worse.
kidnap a doctor. But, like,
also,
do
let
we
me throw
want to
this
go...
out there as a
Now-
let me throw
now
this
that-
out there as a GM. Hold on. Are y'all as a party talking about kidnapping an innocent doctor?
That's
Innocent
going
is
right.
a strong word.
Waffles.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think
it's
he's
not
talking about
Ren,
Ren.
so you're talking about kidnapping a
No,
random
no.
doctor?
Only
No.
Rin. Only Rin.
Only
Hey,
Ren?
what
Okay.
what was
No,
that
it sounds
goblin
like you're
Tetsu was
about
talking
having
to?
a
Oh, yeah.
doctor.
Who, what other doctor pissed you off, Dr. Lin? The Tetsu's friend?
The Tetsu
No,
goblin. We just
no,
give
no,
him
no,
up.
no.
No, and that's
Crick's
like,
a good boy.
to be honest, even though like Zeha is suggesting like the only other person that I can think to exchange for is somebody who's like betrayed Dr. Len. She's not comfortable with it, but she's like, this is the best I have, and it's sus.
And now
So-
that I think about it, kidnapping Ren would not be an easy task. He's a very influential person, no doubt protected by the finest Tellus mercenaries, the ones that are not seeking me.
So let me make this simple. It's my professional opinion that we either allow Dr. Len the choice that he made and enact a swap, which they'll probably go for because they don't care about this other person and they don't care enough to spend resources to delete us from existence. And Dr. Len won't give up this bad serum thing, and eventually maybe we'll be free. Or we leave with Dr. Len and take away their choice to swap. But we don't really have another option, and we need to do something. Because, again, every minute we spend here makes me squirm longer. And then we have to become the rebels because we're not going to be able to fly out of here.
Zeha breaks the fourth wall, walks up to GM Waffles, and says, "What the hell? Because this is not a fair situation. There's no winning."
It's not supposed to be fair.
Yeah, no, this is not supposed to be fair.
No, I know.
Hey. She didn't die off screen. She's there. She got
She gets to
captured
die
by a bunch of mercenaries that technically in the past y'all probably set in motion.
Like let me just
Definitely.
the way I'm thinking about this, stepping out of character real quick, is we either, whether we delay and deal with it later by like leaving with Dr. Len and with some other fix, or trading Dr. Len and then like us coming back later, whatever the resolution to this moment is, it is not resolved right now without something else. So what that does is we have a ticking time on Aizen wanting to go to Shimansara. We have we'll be adding to our plate dealing with this situation, whatever that is, whether that's like saving Dr. Len or finding an alternative to save Sana, like whatever that is. We also now have that. We have in the wings a jerk of a person causing trouble on Akitan. Okay, just as a reminder, because he's there.
No, Tetsu's picking him up.
Yeah,
Fine.
Tetsu's dealing with that.
He's a good
Oh,
boy.
is he? Was that part of
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. That was Tetsu's first stop was to pick him up on his way to the prison place.
Oh, I missed that. Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
I missed that too.
No, that was we talked about it.
We
I
did.
didn't
We
know
did
that,
talk about
but
it.
okay.
Okay. cool.
Okay, fine. So then we have who knows what's going on with Tetsu. Fine. We have a overarching goal with the Starfinder Society and a time ticking on like grace, and like what's up with that? I'm gonna play the Critical Role game. What the fuck's up with that?
So
all of these
So
things are
Caliban
now
would-
on our plate, and this is just adding to it.
Caliban would like to clarify, this is not a loose end in his mind if we leave Dr. Len. Dr. Len is staying here. There is no coming back for Dr. Len unless they let Dr. Len go. Like, if Dr. Len wants to stay here and swap, great. His
Okay.
expectation is we give him Dr. Len, we take the person Dr. Len wants away, job done, we move on. This is not a concern for you guys
I
anymore.
guess one of the routes is leaving Dr. Len and then all of us having to be okay with that and not following up with that. Sure. But I'm just saying there's a lot of threads going on right now, and I don't have a solution for this at all. So, I think the decision right now, like, we tried being smart. Like, I tried being like, as Zeha, like, what leverage do we have? I think we poked enough holes in it that it's just not going to happen, and it's probably not worth bringing up and telling them anything about, if there's enough holes, there's no point to bring it up. So right now it's Dr. Len trades out or we leave.
Mm-hmm. And we figure out a way of buying time that we can
Sure.
actually get leverage.
Sure.
I mean, I think honestly stealing another person is another option if that's the route people want to go. Makes people uncomfortable. But like to Caliban, like there's a consequence to this.
Oh yeah.
Like
There's
there's
all of
no
us.
there's no happy ending here. Like we're in a situation. The problem is a lot of these threads have a solution. It's just it's not a comfortable solution.
No, I think all of us
So-
recognize that, but the question is like what's next? What are we doing? Because again, we leave with Dr. Len and try to buy time. That adds something to our plate of many things happening at once and time sensitive. That's all I'm bringing up. So, what's happening?
I don't think, like, both in and out of character, we can just leave Dr. Len here and expect things to go well for anyone involved.
No, we can
But
if
That's my decision if I'm left here.
It
Not-
is.
I'm not like a tool to you
No.
guys. I'm part of the group.
No, I
If
understand,
you
and
say
you-
you're going, we'll let you go.
Exactly.
That's your call.
That is your
Will
call,
you?
and we can try to come back for you if that's
We have other business here, so we're coming back.
we can come back for you. It's just not going to be right away. Are you okay with that? I am not. It's not about me. Are you?
If it keeps Sana alive, yes. I have little doubt that if we skip the planet, she's going to die. Unless we have
Unless we
The-
communicate.
Black Butterfly's loving, kind permission to.
Yes.
And unless, well, I mean,
The only
I
way
don't think the Rin thing's going to work. I'm going to be honest.
exactly. And I don't think anybody is going to offer up an innocent in this situation. So if you want to leave with us with the Black Butterfly's permission, right now, the next operation becomes acquiring Rin. Whatever chances of success that are, that has to happen as soon as possible. Otherwise, they won't let you
fair-
off planet. If that's
To be
not on
fair,
the
that's
table.
more plausible of an option because they
It's-
wouldn't expect it.
It is plausible to get their permission. It's not necessarily
No, sorry. The Ren thing. That is a more plausible operation we can undertake than
except
bashing
we
it.
have we have very little information on Rin's whereabouts and the other half of that plan of acquiring him. And I know, given what we've talked about with both the Telus Corporation and Dr. Len's information that he's high to do, that's not going to be easy.
Especially without Dr. Len being there.
No, I
he'd be
agree.
with
I
us.
just mean, yeah, he'd be with us. I'm just saying, I agree with all that. I'm just saying, if they don't think there's no reason Dr. Len would try to espionage into their place and steal one of their people. That's stupid. So therefore, they're not expecting that.
Yeah, no,
And I
we
need
know
to
it's an
add that
option. Go ahead.
If I'm seen back on Primoria, I'm probably going to go to a Tella's branded private prison and then be shot in the head, most likely.
Yes.
I think they'd shoot you before the prison, but yeah.
All right.
Probably.
We have Dr. Lin, the decision is yours. You can stay, or you can risk this other operation. If it's what you need, then I, at the very least, will do what I can.
Agreed.
I think we should see exactly what the Black Butterfly wants first, but I'm not leaving without her safety guaranteed. However that looks.
If her safety is guaranteed, if you leave and acquire this replacement within a time limit, will you do it?
I don't believe the Rin thing will.
Then that other option won't work.
Yep.
Only guarantee is swapping.
The only guarantee is swapping.
And even then, it's not a
Then-
guarantee.
No, it is. I think that's an easy
It is.
conversation to have.
This
Why
is
would
the
they-
first time I've worked for them, then stop. I mean,
Yeah, that's
Okay.
just,
no, I get that point, but they do stay to their word to an extent.
Let's converse with them and ask the terms and length of this work. We exchange Sana now. You don't go to them if Sana isn't free. We'll ensure that. If you go to them, what are their expectations and how long do you have to work for them?
Can you work remotely? That would be ideal.
I have a question. Does it
We release the
matter?
adaptations. We release adaptations serum, create a global pandemic, and then I work remotely.
Genius!
Wait a minute.
I was gonna say
That's just real life.
spike their red eye with adaptation serum and fuck them up.
Oh my god, yes.
That
That
wouldn't go well if it
won't end
mutated
well.
weird. Yeah, that wouldn't end poorly at all.
Len, all of the red eye you produce has turned people into plants. I don't know.
That's just a
you.
coincidence.
That's
Did
why
I
you do
do
it
that?
all at once.
Alright. Are we calling them?
Yes.
We're having a meeting at least.
All right.
So
Alright, y'all setting
did
up
we
the
go back to
column?
the ship?
I don't
Yeah,
think so.
No. I
Okay,
don't
so
think
we stayed away from the ship. We're not doing adaptation serum stuff now. We're just discussing
Yeah,
the terms.
adaptation serum's out like entirely from the conversation. We're not
Mhm.
mentioning it.
Okay. So y'all are gonna set up the column.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Rings once, twice.
Awoo, awoo.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Do you have anything, or are you just calling to hear my voice again?
It's lovely.
As alluring as your voice is, now I wanted to ask about the specifics of your work contract and also wished to see evidence that Sana is in your possession,
Unharmed.
unharmed.
Sure. 1 second.
Damn
You
it,
hear,
I was
like,
hoping.
silence,
Damn it.
little shuffling away. Then you hear Lan! Sana's voice, 100%. Sounds kind of echoey.
Like, as in she's a long distance away, or it's
I mean, could be a long distance away. It just sounds like super echoey, reverby.
I want to see her.
No.
You hear in your
Why?
mind, ask a personal question that she would only know the answer to.
How do I eat?
All right, then verify her identity with this simple question. Sana, where did we meet?
Hold on. The GM is looking up the answer.
Wait one.
He's got to read the ERP thread that they had going on in the background.
She's an imposter. We can leave.
Among Us.
She's a pasta.
You hear a little talking back and forth, like in the background. Can't tell what's being said. And you hear him say, "She said you met in a bar on Castrovel.
Damn
how
it.
quaint."
Okay, I now believe you have Sana.
There's no
Alright.
reason if you heard her voice that you can't talk to her directly. At least give them a moment.
I would rather not. He's an intelligent man. I don't want to deal with anything that might transpire.
What would be the width and breadth of this work count?
How long do you have need of him for?
Yeah. Now, how much do you need me to produce? And would I be working in one of your labs, or is this something I could engage in as a private endeavor?
Private would probably be fine. I don't see any reason to have you stay on the planet as long as you can get them to us within time. Approximately 3 months or 300 doses. Whichever comes up first. Please don't take me for a fool. You're not going to produce 1 dose in 3 months and call it good.
Mhm.
And
That's my
like,
plan.
how 300 doses in 3 months, is that like a lot? Or
That'd be like working 50-hour weeks. Like you'd be working like 5/10s kind of thing. Like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 10-hour days kind of thing.
goodness,
Oh,
that would
it's
be
hard
really
work.
hard.
Yeah, you can't do that an
It
adventure.
would be, yeah, that would be really hard to like get onto Absalom Station with a giant drug lab on the ship.
Yeah.
No, it would be
Hey,
actually.
Arvin, we've got
less
a
hard than
special
you think.
request.
And
Arvin, can you use the
if
labs?
he agrees, will you let Sana go?
In a sense, she'll be the
Oh.
courier. We'll ensure that she is tracked properly. And if she does not come with a good supply every, what, you want to call it 2 weeks, Dr. Lin? A good supply in every 2 weeks? That sounds good. If she does not return with a good supply every 2 weeks, then we'll come after her. If she returns, but with a poor supply, well, she stays.
How's the final shipment resolved? Third-party courier? If we've been good up until then?
Sure. Or if we, hopefully, we trust each other by then, and she can bring it and leave if she wishes.
I'm sorry.
Or we can do a third. I don't care.
I'm gonna hold up,
Think
like, I'm
about
gonna
that last
type on
sentence.
my comm unit and hold this up to Dr. Lan, so only, like, it's just not verbal. And I'm just like, it'll buy us some time.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds reasonable enough.
Very well. Again, as I said, you know where we are.
We're going to get situated first, so... And I want to clarify your business is with Dr. Len and not us.
No, I have no business with you. I honestly have no business with Dr. Lin, but I do want the drug that I know he can provide very quickly.
What if he can find somebody else to provide it for you?
Sure, but I want it in my hands and Sana's mine until then. And again, we'll say 2 weeks, right, Dr. Lin? And then we will begin moving forward to ensure that you deliver.
How am I
Yep.
getting the materials to produce these drugs? Because I'm going to be straight with you. Kind of strapped for cash.
Not my problem.
Oh, that changes
Yeah.
things.
Does it?
You honestly want him to provide something and you're not going to provide him a way to do so?
Why would I?
They're playing a card where they have Sana. This is out of character.
Yeah.
I
If
mean,
you
they
want
could
the
provide
product, then you
fingers as
might want to
payment.
ensure at least a way for him to start.
He started on his own last time. He can do it again. It's a very intelligent man.
Waffles, do I believe that by producing extra doses and selling them on the side, I could make enough money to upscale the operation and meet their demands?
Oh my god.
Okay, I see
Oh.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, dude, it's
Uh,
Breaking Bad.
He
No.
just
We're
needs an
Breaking
initial
Bad.
investment, guys.
Jesse, we need to cook, Jesse.
Yeah. The next thing he's gonna do is NFTs with Moat to try to get a counterfeit.
Just a
First
moat.
First off, you don't think you would have the time for that ever to produce more than what they're asking for.
What if I
Ah,
hire
what?
someone?
But if you could, then yes.
What if I
I'll-
hire the funny goblin that Tetsu worked with?
I mean, it's you've never seen them with medicine, but they installed Tetsu's crap well.
This is
I
going
think you
downhill
need
so
Tetsu to
fast.
back you up.
It really is.
All right, back in character.
And what-
Moat
what-
wants
what if
to
I-
telepathically
Moat.
send a message to Zeha first, saying, I don't know if 2 weeks at the outset is enough time to not only make the doses, but to get them delivered. I believe that 2-week period needs to start after approximately a month, in which case it'll become more regular to allow for
Yeah.
ramp.
I kind of just nod to you. Given the fact that you're asking him to upstart an operation, give him a month to get started.
Silence. Give me a diplomacy check.
Oh, I will give you a culture
aid?
check.
I disagree.
You don't know
No.
what racist it is.
Yeah, you're not gathering information
Oh,
with this.
alright, fine, fair enough.
Yeah.
Is
She's
it
like, weird. It usually works.
23?
Nice. Here's silence for a couple of seconds. He goes, very well.
All right.
Let's meet in the middle. A month is when I expect my first delivery.
And you'll send Sana to whatever location ends up being?
She can go with you for all I care. Trust me, we'll track her. If you don't deliver, then we'll be at your doorstep.
All right, then let's send Sana to where the wolves met us. We'll meet there and have her send some communication so I don't have to talk on this stupid thing. We can call you. Like comm unit phone.
Yeah. Yep. He gives you like basically an IP address. He goes, I will be sending one of my people with her just to ensure, and obviously we need to collect our wolves and any gear on them. Please leave this technology behind.
Everyone looks at Moat.
To be fair, one was destroyed and us trying to figure it out.
Extracting, not figured out. Figuring it out was perfectly fine.
Yes.
You hear a chuckle, and he just says, 301, Dr. Lin.
That should allow you, Moat, to keep the one that you have.
Well, no, he
I
destroyed.
need to get the. No, they're going to expect to see all of them, including the destroyed one.
Yeah.
What Moat is going to do is Moat is going to take whatever time we have to essentially develop a blueprint for this. I want to understand what goes into it so that I can create it.
For sure. Okay. Yeah, with all that, he says, very well. I will send her at sunrise. The forest is dangerous at night.
You don't say.
Great.
Yeah, fucking laser wolves everywhere.
Alright. I'll share a look with Dr. Len before. Boop, boop.
Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Bye
I shut the wolf's mouth. Okay.
And as you shut the wolf's mouth, boop, boop, that's where we'll end the session.
This is not what I wanted, Dr. Len.
That went well, all things considered.
Did it?
You know?
Did it? Because you're
Really?
not roped in
Like,
to being a freaking drug person.
I'm
It's
Walter
remote work.
White now. I'm Heisenberg. I'm gonna make drugs.
And this is not where Zeha wants to be, at least.